Today we'll take a look at my drawing package for Love Story, or Love of a Lifetime, if that was the final name, done for Current Affairs. This is in 1995, 96. Oh, February of 96, very cool. So yes, this is the package drawings that in the original form is A3 sized. This is about A4 because I photostat and reduced. So original size is A3. Let me adjust a little bit so you can see a bit more. Can. Okay, so original size is A3. I reduced it to A4 in terms to keep as archive. So essential drawing, or rather the package that goes out to different folks, it would at least have a layout plan of how it looks. I don't know if you can see here. Layout plan. This is a location plan. I actually drew out an entire layout of Tuas TV World because I enjoy doing it, and so I can indicate which block we are using, and this is how the set I wanted it to look at, even in preliminary basic illustrations like this. So what will happen is we will go on location, recce the location with the producers, and determine what particular location I want to shoot at. Then I give a rough idea of how the furniture is based on what the director and producer requires. Then I come back and I draw it out and disseminate this to the rest of production services so they can sort out the props, the furniture, and setting and striking. So I also indicate down here setting and striking times. At the very least, when is the shoot? So that's important, so everybody backtracks. A lot of my drawings have annotations, but they are not specific to say particularly what was it I was looking for, unless basics like wash basin that I would need water and face towel. So in this indication, right, it would mean they will use it. Somebody will use the water to put on the face. I mean, in the film sense, I'll put like practical wash basin. So it's like folks don't chuck with me a dirty unwashed basin and let's work it out. So this is a requirement, and prop store will work out what they need. Furniture is also dependent on what is available at that time when my drawings go out, and folks can pull the furniture to fit the particular mood and the year, the period. So that's as important. So if it doesn't match, they'll come back to me, then we'll discuss in terms of how to move forward with an alternative design, alternative furniture. So like this is very simple looking furniture, but that's the idea. That's the idea of how I'm open to negotiation, if that's the word for it, to get a particular furniture set, unless again I specifically request for something, which in turn is specifically requested by the producers. This is an in-house program with, how shall I put it, limited resources and funds. So it's something that we all know about and what we are able to concoct based on what's existing. So it wasn't as much of a hassle as I imagined it to be. But then that's me being cynical. But at the end of the day, it is as close to having long form, if you want to call it like that, long form design that I do, because normally I do entertainment and variety, and nothing in terms of drama. In this context, there might be scripted drama, but the script is not like an entire narrative of a story they need to tell. It is a vignette of a story they tell as part of the current affairs concept of this particular show. So let's say, for example, like this, why we need this is again not based on memory, this is based on assumption, like a dress shop front, and this is how I wanted the dress shop front to look like. So more likely it's based on a story of whoever's running the store and his love of his love life with his wife and his hardship and how they got together. In that context, that is love of a lifetime. Even like this, I also recognize, I purely recognize, I can draw easily because it's part of my wheelhouse and my interior design, trained, and as much as this is again something familiar to me, but I also recognize draw very easy, but folks have to put it together. So even if I do like the bundles of color, again it's open, I'm not putting any colors in, but being able to find fabrics enough to fill up the wall like this, or even mannequins with clothes specific, era specific to fit, that's a whole new different ball game actually, based on limited resources, based on limited funds, and everything in-house as opposed to going out. So sometimes we work with wardrobe to borrow items for display, and sometimes a prop store has their own. I see this, I remembered something. The memory is irony because a lot of times I design something like this, I draw it, they set it up, but I don't necessarily see what happens next unless I do manage to catch the program on the television. This is like 90s, 96. Maybe I should have checked Me Watch and see if these are still in broadcast or in circulation. I could see and maybe screen grab so I can match my designs to the locations that is being used. But other than that, most of the times for this particular show, I remembered I might have set it, dressed it up, taken photographs of it, but I do not necessarily show as much of it because it is without lighting, it's without cast, without specific props already on the set. A lot of the props, like say for example this, when it's food based, where there's smoke, all this will happen on the shoot itself. I'm not going to preset food in advance and let other folks take it, or wild animals, who knows, whatever, take it. So all this will come maybe an hour or so before the actual shoot day, and the guys will set up, like say the lights, electricians will come set up lights, set up the food in that context. But when I finish my job as a set designer in TCS, a senior set designer in TCS, if I attend the settings, I don't necessarily attend all settings, but when I attend the settings, I will leave before shoot actually begins. So yeah, it's all a mystery to me, man. Wow, I mean, I look at this, it's all flashbacks. Flashbacks not because of the program, but because of my interior design. I'm a trained interior designer from Baharudin, have my diploma. So I floor plans and annotations of doors and stuff like that is familiar to me. This is a very, I would call messy annotation based on interior design, but in terms of for set and for setting crew, I try to be as clear as I can and in English in that context, so folks will understand what needs to be done. So I don't remember this set, but I can imagine I took up the entire house to fill up with different scenes. Well, I certainly hope there was a camera that handheld and followed the characters from room to room. I imagine if that was the case, that would be fabulous. If not, even if it's scene to scene, at least on the doorways and corridors, you peek in, so there's a semblance of depth. Versus if I just brought, let's say, dress up 3 walls of a room, or even with 4 walls, my shots are limited. I look here, I look here, I look here. There's no depth against, versus everything is against the wall, the background. So with a bigger set like this, I certainly hope there are ample opportunities for camera shots. I hope to be able to see the depth, even if there's a small dolly, okay, don't say dolly, like handheld, walking in, or somebody turning in the corner and the camera follows and reveals, then there is, I feel, would be a wonderful creation of depth and hence the production value of any shoot. Does that make sense? Sorry, I'm overcompensating my own wannabe filmmaking dreams. Again, more sketches. I'm proud of my sketches here. I enjoyed trying to go into detail. Like I said, it's part of my wheelhouse, and I relish this actually. When I was in TCS, you can see my sketch work here is very quick and non-straight. Later part of my tenure in production design, set design, my lines become as fluid as this. Fluid is a nice way of saying not using ruler lah. Beginning is like all very straight rulers, but subsequently I became more free with my line work because at a point I value speed versus accuracy. I enjoyed the accuracy. I enjoy straight, clean lines. It looks as if it's like computer generated. I used to love that quite a bit. But after a while, when it comes to needing to produce images faster in a shorter period of time, so I had to embrace something that was more visually able to communicate versus visually aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. Let's flip before I talked about designing for Love of a Lifetime. In this context, there's a few more pages to go. This was as close to, if you want to call it long form drama, in my 4.5-year tenure in TCS, Television Corporation Singapore, because primarily I'm in the production unit doing variety TV, variety shows. So do not touch dramas as much. So this is the closest I could get to creating a dynamic scene for narrative, is the narrative scene. Regardless whether or not it's long script, short script, but there is a story to be told. Like for example, folks, I'm in a bedroom with a rocking baby, hanging baby, what's it called? Baby hanging? Can't remember. Sleeping, shaking. I'm at a loss for words, man. You get what I mean. And details like this. Wow, this is hilarious, I think. Because we did it in the reception lobby of TV building, at least in terms of my annotation. So we actually built a set. Why? Why did we build a set? In the old TV building reception lobby. Why? 1960s. 1960s. Yeah, trying to figure out. There's the Ask Celeste producer. Why? Why did we build it in TV building? Or maybe there was no access to Tuas TV World at that time. Moving on. Next scene, hospital ward. Hospital wards is like it's a must-do eventually. Everybody will end up doing hospital wards. We don't really like doing hospital wards. It is not as easy at all. I mean, yes, you can put together hospital beds, but what about equipment? What about, I mean, we have the blood bags, we have simple equipment to dress up the place, but how much more details like clipboard? Do we actually see the clipboard? What type of clocks? Do we actually see patient records? Details at the side of the bed, bottles, medicinal bottles, are they filled up? And also error specific to the 60s, how does it look? Stuff like that. To me, it was fun. So while doing all this, it was in a way, not say in a way, it is more than my variety design, but it was a way in for me to do a little bit surface level long form drama, if you want to call it like that, and for me to taste how it feels like before I eventually did feature films. My first feature is 1998. 1998, I actually did 2 features back to back. So 2 years after this. So to me, this was great training ground to learn what I put into practice based on my interior design knowledge and how I work with TV folks, the production crew, in terms of the services, what they provide me, and what I learned from them and what they taught me, and see how that eventually works out in the real world. Basically commercial, not saying the TCS was not real, but in the world outside of broadcast television, where all of these are in-house, whereas I would say readily available, but they are in-house. So the costing wise and availability wise, when you're outside of the TV station, broadcast station, it's a whole new ballground. I don't say that very lightly. I say that very, very sincerely. Okay, more sketches. Yeah, maybe I won't ramble so much about what I draw. I just show. You can see, or start the free hand drawing with not as much lines, or rather ruler, as I would do with the floor plan. Even the sketching of furniture has become quicker. Again, lack of time, I assume. Or maybe it's not a matter of lack of time, the matter of prioritizing my time, because got other projects come on. These are not, these are just, I would say they are not sequentially bound together, I think. I didn't necessarily put them sequentially, but then again, I never checked if I did. I don't think I'm that ADD or that specific to want to put it chronologically. Still details. Again, I don't draw it so small. It's probably slightly larger because it's on A3 size drawings, but yeah, this is what I did. More drawings. A lot of times, it might be furniture I see in the props when they bring me around the props area, and I will specifically see what I want and I'll pick it. And if it's within the timeline, because I'm not going to pick something a month in and try to choke, if they call it in Singapore, to reserve it. It doesn't work that way. A lot of times it's first come first serve, based on the duration of time they are able to keep it for me, book it for me. So a lot of times based on floor plan, you might come out with a floor plan first. You might not necessarily have a sketch as quick, or it could be both, that I have a sketch, then I show the props guys, the setting guys, they say, okay, come, let's go and choose. If they look at this, I don't have something like this, but I have something like this instead, would you be able to take it? And then I do it, then I will sketch in the page itself. It's not like as if we have handphones and constant cameras to be able to have digital photography. Back in the day, I remember it was still manual. So to cut the time of waiting to print with photographs, I'll just sketch it out. I think it's quicker that way, at least for me. You can see the lines, very more free already, if that's a word for it. Wow. After a while, concentrate on layout plans and props. If I can pull, or I'm shown particular props, then I'll indicate and the guys will pull it for me. Sometimes, not all the time, but it's not all the time I'll guarantee get what I want in terms of the furniture. I might book it in advance, regardless of how long, but somebody else comes along and pulls it, then I'm out of furniture lah. So either they replace for me something else, because it's not as if I'll take a sofa out and I won't have anything for you. So they replace it with something, they double check with me, or I double check with them and I approve. Let the producers know. If they trust me enough not to have a big hassle, then I make a decision and we move on. Like this. You still got time to draw straight lines lah. Do I draw nowadays in this day and age, in a 2023 even? Not as much actually. Not as much as I feel I need to, because we are after all in a visual medium. And what I think in my mind, and how much do I explain to everybody else, clear enough for folks to understand, for folks to pull what I need, purchase what I need, borrow what I need, to be able to set up a set, at the same time to bring peace to the director, so they understand what is to be expected. So when they go on set, it's not like surprise. They understand sort of how it is. They can block with their cinematographers, they can block with their cameras, they can block with their talents if they choose to have a reading or rehearsal before. So all of it works together for me, I feel. But a lot of times it doesn't necessarily go that way. So what I feel in current days, and what I've been told as well. Yeah, I think at this point I was quite specific on actual props. Oh, I'm quite amazed. Why? Why did I do that? Again, I've not checked if this was a earlier. No, it is a later one, because I think remember earlier dates were like February, so this is much later. Maybe because I did not get specific props to my set before, hence I reacted by my normal overkill of specifically needing what I want. Sometimes it's a tricky premise, and I'll say now, to no offense of anyone, because we work with different people as well. It's one thing if I'm specific at what I want, and they are able to give to me specifically, or the set dresser knows instinctively what I need, so they don't need to pull anything beyond what I asked for, or they are able to pull beyond what I asked for as well, hence making the set more enriching. Sometimes it's not about crowding the set with props. As much realism as we want, it is not about crowding the set with overstimulus of props and items, but enough to showcase the story, to show the story. It could be as simple as trying to find out, okay, in this particular set, for example, how many people will be inside? 1 person, 2 person? If it's like a group of 5 folks are going to be inside here, one on the bed, family at the side, whatnot, then how much I fill up the background will be extra noise. Then fair enough, you can argue, then the visual, the mise-en-scène would be very filling, the areas are covered. But then again, it's not a matter of needing to cover every area, at least to me. So again, you need to tie down in terms of the storytelling, the aesthetic value, what is required, what is expected, what folks are willing to give, are willing to receive. Even when I look at this set, first thing that popped into my mind actually is the fan. Is the fan moving? Let me see. Non-practical. Okay, white fan hanging from top. So the fan in location is not moving. So I'm not stressed out. But if they say, okay, I need the fan to be moving, then I'll just find out from electrical crew. I'm not gonna to make it myself, but the setting crew will have to sort out how the fan moves. Back in 90s, how much are we going to worry about? Of course, folks will be worried about how quick the fan moves, how fast is the rotation. Can it be just visually slow so we can see a semblance of a fan move, and not too huge, not too quick, and not too furious where it affects the sound, stuff like that. Having mentioned all that, it is not flexing or showing off what I know. And I'm smiling to myself right now, talking to myself in the camera, because that is to me the joy of filmmaking or setting or designing for a project, because it is beyond just dressing. To plug some stuff, fill up the background with things. I'm a person that is not particularly the sort that would need to cover up plain walls with photographs. A lot of directors through the years, the wall very plain, can you put a picture? I mean, I don't necessarily, I feel doesn't mean a plain wall needed to just have a picture frame. Sometimes it's just, if it's next to the window, it could be a cutter in. Of course, I say this, it's not me, it's the lighting crew, but it could just be a cutter in and the light throw, and your wall have different textures already, stuff like that. So, or even if a curtain, if it's a sheer curtain, and whatever is light shine in, if it doesn't reflect on the wall because it's too far away, at least even if it's flying, then there's different textures. If the curtain is flying, the shadow cast on the wall, then the wall suddenly becomes alive because it's moving. And if you don't need to have it's to me, it's the same, it's parallel to, if your talents are not moving, the camera can move. This I always felt, even when I was camera directing for my TV shows back later in production, when I wasn't doing art direction, solely art direction. My simple theory for me was, if the talent doesn't move, my camera will move. But if the talent moves, my camera will not move. I don't know if I heard it somewhere, I cannot remember, so I can't give credit where it is. But in this context, if the talents don't move so much, then maybe whether or not it's camera moving or something in the set that moves. So if something here moves or window moves, then that set is alive, and it's not just people standing about not doing anything. But then that's just me. I'm rambling. I don't know if there's context for this set, but yes, it's just me enjoying my own rambles. Wow, I'm gonna spend time to draw a staircase. Wow, rickshaw. So I'm marveling at my own own ability, no ability. Question myself, why am I drawing so detailed? Hey, nice. I mean, maybe it's just layout as well. It just interests me. Just interests me. Yeah. So even with photographs, this is what I do and have done. Photograph of the place, exterior, and when I print it out, then I add it to drawings. So it's as much as time consuming for me instead of drawing, but it's also accurate to a degree where you see this is the actual thing. I want to show you because I want to hang clothes outside so folks will understand. A lot of times I give extra instruction because you can say it's a me thing, but because I don't know how much of my instructions will pass through who it will pass through, how many hands it will pass through. If I'm speaking directly to the setting crew or the props man that I know will be setting up this, so I'll tell him or her, this is what I need, this is what is happening, okay. But what if they take the info from me and pass to another crew that sets? Then do they end up having miscomm? I think my not fear, maybe experience of having miscommunication also led to me having as much details as I can squeezed into a drawing, so there is there's no doubt from what is needed. Does it make sense? There's a minimal doubt. I minimize the doubt of what is needed or information, so folks just look at the drawing and they understand and they move on. Yeah. I can it's not even talking about people smart enough. Everybody is pro at what they do. Simple as that. But I don't need to have a situation where I'm putting folks into a situation where they are doubting the instructions in front of them. Then that, if I can alleviate that, I think I will try my best to. So everybody can give what I ask for and more. If they understand what they need, if they're enjoying what they do, if they are solving problems of the request versus problems of the request. Does it make sense? If my drawings are so what's the word for it? Not detailed, open for interpretation. Be it gives them opportunity to interpret and explore what they need to do, which is great, which will be great, or you draw what I feel, as simple as that. So maybe I'm the cynic. Not maybe, I am the cynic. So I'd rather be able to say minimum of what I have. One is this. So even if this is the minimum of what I'm given, at least I have these. Then say I have a set like this without clothes, for example. No offense to the setting crew, because again, instruction based on what they see. If the instructions are not clear, how do you expect them to read people's minds? I always say that in terms of art direction, in terms of design through the years, it's the same. How do you expect people to read your mind? And to be very frank, even if you tell somebody, they might forget, or it's all lost in the long form hustle. It is, because it's long form, because it's not just one set. If it's multiple sets, you might forget. So again, drawings to me are important. Why? Got 3 beds, this is where it is, and stuff like that. Important. Okay, be it you like it or not, it's important to me, hence I draw it. Because if it's not important, why would I draw extra? Okay, hospital. I really do not like hospitals. I mean, set dressing for hospitals. And then, this is it. This is the end. This is the end of my package for Love of a Lifetime, love story. And I will put a link to seeing still images I have put on my Facebook. Sorry, you have to log on to Facebook to see. But this video and some select images will go onto my blog as well. I'll put a link when it's up so folks can have a look. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.